It is the sixth model introduced in the Full Metal Panic collaboration series and the third introduced in the 2025 Volume 2 run of the collaboration. It is FMP05 Mofta-Kun, with a nearly fully new kit of shoot heater, glitch rifle, glitch Vulcan, biped legs, and the leg ability of Mascot, which debuffs enemy success and power when attacked and taking incoming attacks from enemies. Now, as another iconic character from the Full Metal Panic series, it ultimately and honestly makes sense that we'd be seeing the iconic Mofta-Kun at Mascot from the series officially make a drop, and a lot of people were kind of shocked that he didn't make an appearance sooner. That is most certainly not the case anymore with this second run, and the kind of attacks that Mofta-Kun is bringing to the table make it an absolute menace on the field and probably one of the new kings of negative ailments with what it brings to the table and to any field that it's brought on. Shoot Heater on the head part is a brand new support skill that when activated activates two buffs across the entire party. The first of which is a shoot boost effect, which is a 50% boost to all shooting-based damage, no matter what it is. So if you're already running a full team of shooters, this is going to be a very, very nice boost that you have right off the top. And it also applies a stack of Heater to the entire party, which is a 50% boost to all allies' heat stats, which means that they'll be running notably faster to the command line after they receive their current orders. Glitch Rifle on the right arm is another brand new skill being introduced into the game, and boy is this one nasty. It is a standard shooting based attack with passive piercing damage, but it can apply two random ailments upon landing a successful hit on the target. Those ailments for Glitch Rifle include Tornado, Confusion, Level Drain, Unsuccess, Fire, Hold, Defense Seal, and Bug. So just from those alone has a lot of very nasty negative ailments that Mofta-Kun can bring to the table just with one use of Glitch Rifle. And given the fact that they are also completely randomized, means that you never really know what you're going to be landing on the target, but you can guarantee two of them are going to be slapped on the enemy upon the end of your turn. Glitch Vulcan on the left arm is another brand new skill which does basically the same thing as Glitch Rifle, but instead it is a scatter type of attack, which means it will damage one part normally and then two others randomly for extra damage. But also, like Glitch Rifle, will assign two random ailments across the enemy when attacking them. However, unlike Glitch Rifle, Glitch Vulcan's pool of negative ailments includes Mud, Curse, Survivor, Replay, Melt, Wave, Evade Seal, and Virus. So between both Glitch Rifle and Glitch Vulcan, and being completely honest, this is essentially kind of like the anime Metabee's Gatling A on steroids. Because just between both of those attacks, Mofta-Kun has access to almost every single negative ailment available in the game that is not a double ailment infliction, such as, say, Deathlock, or Lock Shot, or Double Fire, or Melt Shot. Aside from those double ailment inflictions, this is basically every single ailment in the game that Mofta-Kun has at its disposal between two skills, and, albeit at random, makes it an extremely dangerous target. Of course, now if anyone is bringing Stat Cleanse to the table, then that does kind of mitigate just a little bit of what Mofta-Kun can possibly do, but at the same time, with heating stats in the high 800s to 1,000 and so, Mofta-Kun is going to be running back and forth extremely quickly when it comes to firing these off. Even if the damage is kind of mediocre, at a base 999 for that rifle, and almost 1400 for the Gatling, if you're going to be inflicting two random ailments at that, I really don't think power is going to be one of your biggest emphasis. Plus, with success stats at almost 1500 on the rifle and over 1100 on the Gatling, it's going to be pretty tough for him to miss too. So these are some very good arms that Mofta-Kun is bringing to the table. When it comes to leg stats, he's packing a 945 in the mobility department, so already off to a fairly solid start when it comes to speed. And this is before factoring any other assets such as Meta-Rotter bonuses or terrain or anything else of the like. Speed is already going to be fairly solid on his side. And an evade of 1552 is nice, as it means that he can dodge or graze fairly consistently, and should have a pretty good time dodging or grazing to keep the damage as low as possible. However, he does have a melee resist of 749 and a shoot resist of 886. And on one hand, if you're packing a lot of very high power and low armor, then that'd be one thing. But Mofta-Kun isn't exactly glass cannon territory with fairly middling power, but the ailments are kind of the big selling point. So realistically, he's going to be taking a fair bit of punish damage from both shooting and incoming melee attacks, and going to make keeping his HP high as a little bit more of a challenge. However, that is also before Mascot kicks in, which will debuff the enemy's success and power over time, but that's also assuming you can survive the attacks and heal back whatever's lost. In the armor department, though, he's packing a 3419 for the head, just shy of 3200 per arm, and over 3200 for the legs, so kind of a middling territory with the armor department as well. Not very bulky as far as what you could expect, but again, the ailments are going to be a very big selling point here as far as what he brings to the table. So ultimately, if you do plan to use Mofta-Kun in any kind of variety or a position, do make sure that you keep a defender on the team that can keep him protected, because the first hit he takes is more than likely going to take him out. And that's even before Mascot has a chance to intercept the damage and reduce it. And furthermore, if any of the enemies bring Stat Cleanse to the table, you're going to have a little harder of a time trying to spam ailments more than once as long as that buff remains active. All this being said, though, as a pure set score, I honestly have to rate Mofta-Kun a pretty well-rounded 7.5 out of 10. Glitch Rifle and Glitch Vulcan very easily are going to be the two big selling points of what he brings to the table, and Shoot Heater synergizes with both of those extremely well. Because even if his power is fairly middling and his success is actually very good, getting a 50% boost to his shooting damage and his heating stats means he's going to be zipping back and forth extremely quickly with almost nothing being able to slow him down, and getting that power boost is definitely going to be nice and help him out well. However, given the fairly light armor and the very low resist stats he has on his legs, it might be a little bit of a challenge to keep him alive. And like I said, anyone with Stat Cleanse or even super armor to a degree might possibly prove to be an irritation, because it's going to be hindering a lot of the different kind of ailments that you can bring to the table with Mofta-Kun. As mixed parts, I do have to rate him equally at a 7.5 out of 10 for these same reasons. Shoot Heater obviously is going to fit extremely well with any kind of shooting-oriented kind of combat, so Rifle, Gatling, Ghost Shot, Hyper Beam, Hyper Laser, anything else of the like can absolutely benefit, especially if they have a very low heating stat, which can tie in that very easily. However, Glitch Rifle and Glitch Vulcan are definitely going to be the two very big winning parts here, as something that you're going to want to try to shoot at least one or two rolls for to say that you tried, because in a game where ailments are kind of harder to find in this current day and age in competitive meta, being able to slap two negative ailments on a target at once, especially with the kind of variety that Mofta-Kun brings to the table, it's gonna be pretty hard to pass on.